Good morning from my kitchen. It's 8:53 and the weather outside is really gloomy, so we are stuck inside, and what are the better things to do inside than keep baking? This is my second day of bread challenge. So today we're going to bake Spanish bread, and so I'm going to run down through our ingredients. I have whole milk, sugar, melted unsalted butter, 2 egg yolks, salt, and I'm gonna need flour. Also, I'm gonna need our active dry yeast. So we're going to need 2 teaspoons of active dry yeast. And then I'm going to put 1 tablespoon of our sugar with our active dry yeast. And then our milk. Mix it together and we will leave it for about 5 to 10 minutes and allow our yeast to activate. While we're waiting for our yeast to activate, we're gonna sift our flour. So we need 3 1/4 cup of flour. So we're gonna sift it here just so we wanna make sure that our flour doesn't have any clumps on it. So you may or may not need all 3 1/4 of flour, but it's better to sift them. Or you may need more, depending on really the flour. And then with our flour, sift them. We're gonna add our sugar too. We're gonna sift them together as well as our salt. Just be careful because it's a little full. And my strainer is not big enough. Just be very careful and be patient. They're all going to come together. So here, if there's any clump up there, you just kind of press it. That way we know for sure nothing is clumping. That's it. Okay, guys, our yeast is activated. That's what we're looking. It needs to kind of like bubble up. So we're ready to whisk in our 2 egg yolks. Then our melted butter. Just gonna whisk it in. I use unsalted melted butter. And just whisk them until they're all combined. Now I'm going to add our dry ingredients into the bowl. Oops, I made a mess. Using our stand mixer, I wanna knead our dough, or at least combine our dough. You don't need a stand mixer. You can use hand, you can use manual. You just really don't need it. Okay, it's just for me, it's because it's convenient using a stand mixer. That way I don't have to knead it. I don't have large surface either, so this is more convenient for me, but you can use it, you can use your hand. Manual labor. Okay, guys, the stand mixer wasn't doing a good job, so I'm just doing it by hand. Hopefully I am better than the hand mixer. because it wasn't really mixing it, because the dough is not, the consistency of the dough is not like a regular bread where it's pulling it all over. It's okay. It's not that hard. At least you develop muscle here. There. This is what we're looking. So what we're going to do now is we're going to let it rise for at least an hour in a warm place. And then in an hour, it should be at least double. So I have a clean towel. I always cover it because I don't want my dough to dry. And then I keep it in my oven, turned off oven with the light on. The light will provide some warmth while our dough is resting. Okay, we have a few more things to do while we're waiting for our dough to rise. We're gonna toast some bread. So this is the bread I baked yesterday. Check my previous video yesterday for the white bread. I left it on the counter for a few hours to let it dry, let it stale. And then now we're gonna cube it because I'm gonna make breadcrumbs for our Spanish bread. I'm going to use my air fryer since our dough is resting inside the oven. So I'm just probably gonna put it in for 10 minutes, 400 degrees, and then we'll check it after 10 minutes, see how it's doing. If it needs more time, we can always put it in, but we don't want to burn our bread. Guys, our breadcrumb is ready. It only needed 5 minutes in the air fryer. Good thing I checked it, otherwise it would have burned. So now we're going to use our food processor to turn them into a breadcrumb. Little bit more. Let's see if it's real breadcrumb. Oh yes, it's breadcrumb. It's real breadcrumb. Why didn't I think about this before? I keep buying those breadcrumbs from the store. They're very expensive. It's so easy to make breadcrumb. Now we're gonna set our breadcrumb aside so we can make the filling. Let's go over the ingredients for our filling. I have a quarter cup of flour, melted butter. Gonna need butter. Just gonna be like arteries gonna get clogged. So I'm gonna put the butter in here, and then I'm gonna add brown sugar. It calls for 2/3 cup of packed brown sugar. I only put like kind of like 1/3 because I don't want it to be too sweet. Because we still have to add condensed milk in here, guys. I don't want it to be too sweet. My God, our diabetes. From the flour, from the sugar, from the um, milk, condensed milk. Okay, I'm gonna need about a quarter cup of condensed milk. I'm just gonna, eyeball it because I don't want any more dirty dishes. There we go. Oops, it got dirty. And then we're gonna mix it again. Just make sure you mix it really well. My brown sugar is kind of old, so it has a little bit of clumps in there. So make sure that I mix it and crush the clump before I add the next ingredients. See? Then I'm gonna add some of our breadcrumb. Um, I'm gonna leave some so I can sprinkle some on the top. Usually, you're supposed to roll your Spanish bread before baking on the breadcrumb, but I didn't make a lot because this is my first time trying and I wasn't sure if I'm gonna be successful, but I'm just gonna put some. Okay, combine again. Then here's our flour. It's really looking like a filling, guys. It's gonna look good. Yeah. By the end of this weekend, I'm gonna have a muscle because baking is a lot of hard work. I didn't know that. You spend time lifting weights. All you have to do is bake bread. You don't need exercise or dumbbells. All you need to do is spatula and start baking bread. Okay, I think this is good. We're gonna set it aside and then wait for our dough to rise. And then we're gonna assemble our bread. There you go. Guys, our dough is more than double. So now we're gonna work it. We're gonna divide it into 16 pieces. Make sure you have a clean surface, okay? Okay, guys, I have 16 pieces here. If you have a scale, it's better if you weigh them. It's not because we want to be perfect, but because if you have equal amount of dough, it cooks evenly and kind of like a uniform. That's all. But it's okay too if you don't have a scale and you know, you just estimate that. Make sure try to make them the same size as you can. That way, again, when you bake them, they will bake evenly. That's all. So here we're gonna flatten our dough. Try to make form them into a rectangular size. No, not rectangular. Yeah, rectangular. Oops. That way we can put our filling. Then we're gonna put our filling. I'm just gonna spread them like that. Oops, there's a big lump of brown sugar, but it's okay. We will just eat it. It is what it is, right? There you go. Does not have to be perfect, guys. We're just gonna eat it anyways. And here are breadcrumbs. I'm just gonna sprinkle it, right? Oh, just roll it. And here's my pan that I lined because I'm lazy and I don't wanna um, wash a stained pan. So I ended up with 15 Spanish bread. I don't know how, but I messed up with my count. But I got 15 Spanish bread here, guys. Here I'm rolling it with my breadcrumb. And this is almost ready to go into the oven, guys. Okay, guys, our bread is rolled. It has breadcrumbs. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to cover it with our clean towel and let it rest for 40 minutes. Guys, our bread is done. There you go. We will let it rest, cool off a little bit, and then we're gonna try it. Enjoy. Let's try our bread, guys. The shape is not perfect. That is not how I remember it to be. Our Spanish bread are kind of like this shape, but I have fat ones, short one, skinny ones, you name it. But let's try. Ooh, it looks like Spanish bread. Smells like Spanish bread. Tastes like Spanish bread. It's so nostalgic right now. I remember growing up, we rarely eat this, guys, because we were very poor. And in order for us to have this, there has to be a special occasion. So whenever we had this back in the days, it's like Christmas for me. So just eating this brings back good memories. So I hope you guys enjoyed our Spanish bread video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm trying to grow my channel. With your support, I can definitely achieve that. Thank you. Happy Sunday.